Red Bull has been disappointed with the first 3 races of the season due to a series of setbacks, including reliability issues. Despite winning in Saudi Arabia, Max Verstappen is trailing in the World Drivers' Championship and his team is chasing the struggling Mercedes in the constructors' standings. But the championship is far from over. After all, there are still 20 races left on the calendar. So how will Red Bull recover? And why should they be considered the favourites for Imola? Let's find out. Red Bull has been fighting with Ferrari at the front of the F1 field through the first 3 races of the season, winning the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix with Max Verstappen. While Red Bull's car has the speed to compete with Ferrari, it has also proven to be fragile at times in the early part of the season, failing to reach the checkered flag 3 times out of 6. Verstappen and teammate Sergio Perez were both hit by a fuel pump issue in Bahrain, forcing them to retire in the closing stages, while Verstappen was forced to retire in Australia due to an unrelated fuel system fault. The Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix this weekend is the first European race of the season, prompting teams to consider bringing a more significant update package to their cars in order to get a jump on their competitors. And Red Bull chief advisor Helmut Marko has confirmed that the team will implement a slew of changes in order to shed some of the excess weight the team has been struggling with. The Ferrari is a car that is always fast, in all conditions, regardless of temperature or tires. Our car is definitely more difficult to tune, but we will lose some weight in Imola. That should give us a significant time advantage. Time gain in other words. I think we are in a good position, but we have an almost equal opponent in Ferrari. Leclerc is driving absolutely flawless this season, so it will be an exciting year. With 45 points, Leclerc leads the Drivers' Championship, with Verstappen third on 25, separated by the other Ferrari of Carlos Sainz. Marko believes that a large part of Ferrari's current advantage is due to engine technology. Ferrari are ahead, Honda, or rather Red Bull Powertrains, is in second place, and Mercedes unusually only in third, but there is the opportunity for them to work on that until September 1st, so in this phase we have to get as many points as possible. Red Bull will not be bringing many updates to Imola, but according to Helmut Marko, Honda has indicated that reliability should be better than in previous races. If that is the case, and they are able to focus solely on performance, Red Bull and Verstappen may stand to benefit. We had to take a lot of punishment, and we are now well behind Charles Leclerc. However, we have dealt with things quickly. The problems we had in Bahrain were different to the problems we had in Australia, and also different to the problems we had during the winter tests. But according to Honda, we can count on the problems being fixed before the next race. Verstappen went into the last race at Albert Park with a nagging feeling that he might not cross the finish line, because Red Bull mechanics were seen scrambling around the Dutchman's car on the grid prior to the race. I knew there was a problem, so it was always going to be a question mark of finishing the race. I mean, these kinds of things, if you want to fight for the title, they cannot happen. With reliability under control, Verstappen can now concentrate entirely on performance, and thus his title defense. Ferrari also demonstrated in Australia that they are not invincible. Problems with Carlos Sainz meant that valuable time was lost in qualifying, and a very unfortunate start the next day. Then he added insult to injury by clumsily shooting off the track and becoming stranded in the gravel pit. Charles Leclerc has stated unequivocally that he too will make mistakes during the season. However, the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix could be a profitable event for both Ferrari and Red Bull. There have never been so many points to be distributed during a Formula One weekend as there are this weekend. This is due to the sprint race format's new configuration. A dominant performance can earn a driver 34 points, 25 points in the main race, 8 points in the sprint race, and 1 point for the fastest lap. So with a good weekend, Red Bull can make up more than on a regular weekend, though the opposite is also true. If Ferrari delivers what the home crowd expects, they will be able to dominate Red Bull once more, and no matter how early in the season it is, each new loss means fewer races to make up for it. The big question mark this weekend is how Ferrari will handle the pressure. The home crowd will have high expectations. The new Italian pride and joy is expected to win with a resounding victory. Ferrari has shown in the past that it is sensitive to pressure, but this season Ferrari is more stable than ever. Nonetheless, after winning 2 of the first 3 races of the season, Ferrari's Tifosi are expecting more from Leclerc, specifically a win on home soil similar to the one he achieved in 2019 at Monza. When asked about his championship lead and the added pressure of the team's home Grand Prix, Charles Leclerc said, "Oh yeah, I can imagine it, but I don't want to think about it too much because it's still very early in the season. Obviously, it's good to be in the lead of the championship. I think I lead by 37 or 34 points. 34. It's okay. 34 points is always good to take wherever you are in the calendar. But yeah, I don't want to focus too much on the championship for now. Italy will be incredible. but we need to approach the race weekend just like we approach the first 3 weekends. I think it's extremely important not to put on ourselves extra pressure and not try to overdo things, because we are working, I think, as a team extremely well since the beginning of the season, and yeah, we just need to keep doing our job, just like we did in the first 3 weekends. While Ferrari is undoubtedly feeling the pressure from their home crowd, they don't appear to be rushing to bring upgrades to the race, which demonstrates either their confidence or naivety. Ferrari team boss Mattia Binotto previously stated that because Imola is the first weekend of the season and sprint qualifying will be held, Ferrari does not want to introduce a major upgrade due to the limited time to test developments on the track. Binotto confirmed that a few tweaks are expected as Ferrari attempts to address their porpoising issue, which was evident at the Australian Grand Prix. But beyond that, he gave a loose time frame of later the season as to when Ferrari will be bringing out the big guns. I think it will be a difficult weekend in the respect of bringing updates and trying to evaluate them in Friday practice, because obviously you need to focus yourself on the quali in the afternoon. If we look at ourselves, there will not be much at Imola, because again we believe it will not be the right place. We will try to mitigate the issues we have seen so far, the porpoising and bouncing that affected our performance at the weekend in Australia. Again, we will try to work on that specific point, but for the upgrades and more, let me say, significant ones, it will be later in the season. However, in stark contrast to Helmut Marko's words, Red Bull team principal Christian Horner made a similar statement about his own team, downplaying the significance of the upgrades it will bring. I wouldn't say we are bringing a big package. It's all part of the evolution. But of course, being a sprint race, you get very little time to evaluate these things. You've got one practice session, and then you're into qualifying, so you've got to be very confident about what you're putting on the car. His comments came after both the Ferrari and Mercedes team principals stated that bringing in major upgrades ahead of the Italian race this weekend would be pointless. Despite early season setbacks, Mercedes believes they simply need to unlock the car's aerodynamic potential after Lewis Hamilton and George Russell finished 4th and 3rd last time out. In terms of Red Bull, Horner remains confident that the team will overcome the technical issues that have plagued them this season. I think it's all part of the evolution and development of these cars. So as we learn more about the tires and how the cars are performing, that gives you a development direction. And I think over the first few races, we've got some very good direction for the development vein for the rest of the season. As a result, all teams are in for a treat. On the one hand, there are more points available this weekend than usual. However, with only one practice session, a significant upgrade could result in a significant setback if the team encounters any problems. But then again, according to Dutch racer Tom Coronel, the weekend is do or die for Red Bull's title hopes, so the team can't afford to stumble with their current deficit, especially because they competed for the top prizes last year, and now they have the speed again to constantly drive for the podium. I think that's great. Just look at Mercedes. With a second place in the first race, a win, and now again in second place, Verstappen had the speed, and that's what it's about. But yes, that also means if you give away twice that amount of points, you have a serious problem. But in the end, you want to have a fight with two different teams, like it was at the beginning of last year. That was of course mega. Then the dime could fall in a different direction every week with Mercedes and Red Bull. That's what Formula One wants, and for that, Imola just becomes crucial. Thank you for your time. If you like the video, please consider liking, subscribing, and clicking the bell button to be notified of future uploads. What are your predictions for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix? Will Ferrari win and satisfy the Tifosi, or will Red Bull ruin their party? Who has the upper hand in the development race? Please share your thoughts in the comments below, and we'll see you later on F1 Zone.